Real Madrid, one of the biggest disappointments of the year. Real Madrid, a team stacked with modern football superstars like Mbappe, Vinicius Jr., Bellingham, and Rodrigo, forming what many dubbed the third Los Galacticos, has fallen far short of expectations this season. A squad expected to dominate all competitions now only has La Liga to play for, and even that seems unlikely. Recently, they suffered yet another loss to their eternal rivals, Barcelona, whom they've failed to beat all season. Ancelotti and his players are under more pressure than ever. But why did the so-called Superteam, the third Los Galacticos, fail so dramatically? Let's take a closer look. Before we begin, don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more analysis, stories, and content like this. There's no denying that Real Madrid has underperformed this season, and there are many reasons behind it. But the root of the problem lies in the poor decisions made by club president Florentino Perez and his board. Perez has always had a fondness for superstars. He even won past presidential elections by promising big-name signings. He was the mastermind behind the original Galacticos era, bringing in legends like Figo, Zidane, Beckham, Ronaldo, Kaká, and Benzema, transfers that helped elevate Real Madrid and win Champions League titles. So it's no surprise that Perez stuck to his philosophy. Star players bring success. Under his leadership, the club has recently focused on young, high-potential talents. But in recent years, he set his sights on one of football's biggest names, Kylian Mbappe. Mbappe himself was known to admire Real Madrid, and this mutual interest led to years of rumors and speculation. The long-awaited union finally happened in the summer of 2024. While Mbappe's arrival brought commercial benefits and global attention, it made less sense on the pitch. The team had already won La Liga and the Champions League the previous year with an elite attacking trio, Vinicius Jr., Bellingham, and Rodrigo. Vinicius in particular had such a strong season on the left wing that he was a Ballon d'Or contender. Though Mbappe played as a striker at PSG, he often expressed his preference for playing on the left. In fact, some reports claimed this was a key reason for his departure from PSG. With both Mbappe and Vinicius preferring the same position, positional overlap became inevitable, just like the past conflict between Figo and Beckham at the club. Beyond the Mbappe signing, the club also made several poor decisions last summer. Veteran defender Nacho was allowed to leave for Saudi Arabia. No new deal was signed with midfield engine Toni Kroos, a move that didn't cause immediate concern but later proved costly. Striker Joselu was sent to Qatar, and Modric was handed only a one-year extension. In short, more key players left than joined, and squad depth suffered. Despite these flaws, expectations remained sky-high. Real Madrid, now reinforced in attack, began the season as favorites to win both La Liga and the Champions League. They kicked things off by winning the Super Cup, but their performances were underwhelming. As the weeks passed, their problems only deepened. The biggest issue? Overcrowding on the left wing when all four attacking stars played together. Even when Mbappe started as a striker, heat maps showed him drifting left. Meanwhile, Camavinga and Tchouaméni, expected to fill the Kroos void, failed to deliver. The team looked disjointed between defense, midfield, and attack. Despite experimenting with different formations, Ancelotti couldn't solve the problem. As their poor form continued, they suffered a crushing defeat to Barcelona in the league and lost unexpectedly to Lille, Milan, and Liverpool in the Champions League. Mbappe was even accused of destabilizing the team. However, things briefly improved in December when Mbappe silenced critics with a run of good performances. Real Madrid climbed to the top of La Liga and knocked out Manchester City in the Champions League round of 16. But this resurgence was short-lived. A 1-0 loss to Espanyol in February marked the start of another decline. The club made headlines by fiercely criticizing refereeing decisions and even suggested withdrawing from the league. From that point on, they dropped points in 7 of their next 12 league matches and fell to second place. In the Champions League, the quarterfinal win over Atletico Madrid after a controversial penalty decision, and then lost 3-0 to Arsenal in London. Despite bold pre-match claims by Lucas Vázquez, they lost the return leg 2-1 and exited the competition they had won just a year earlier. The setbacks didn't stop there. A 2-1 home loss to relegation-threatened Valencia further damaged their title hopes. They fell 4 points behind rivals Barcelona heading into the final stretch of the season. In the Copa del Rey final, they squandered a 2-1 lead and lost again to Barcelona, who proved clearly superior throughout the year. Barcelona's young star, Lamine Yamal, summed it up bluntly. "Even if we concede a couple of goals to Real Madrid's Superteam, it doesn't matter. We beat them every time. They can't beat us this year. We've proven it. I'm really happy." Real Madrid lost 12 matches this season. Despite claims that Barcelona couldn't beat them, they suffered defeats of 4-0, 5-2, and 3-2. Simply put, Real Madrid failed to live up to their squad's potential. They dropped points in games they should have won. Manager Carlo Ancelotti is under heavy scrutiny. Despite months of time and effort, the team is still not showing consistent improvement. On and off the pitch, Real Madrid is plagued with problems. Ancelotti appears out of ideas, while the attacking players focus too much on individual moments rather than team play. At the start of the season, when asked whether having so many stars would cause issues, Ancelotti simply replied, "I'm only thinking about which trophies to win." But instead of achieving balance, the team lacked both defensive and offensive cohesion. One major downside of having so many stars: they often neglect to track back. In their Champions League quarter-final against Arsenal, Madrid covered just 101.2 goals compared to Arsenal's 113.9 goals. Midfielder Bellingham even admitted, "The more you run, the better your chances." Both Mbappe and Vinicius Jr. were among the players who walked the most during away matches this season in La Liga. At one point, Ancelotti relied on aggressive attacking play to cover defensive weaknesses, but this strategy often backfired. Last season, they conceded 26 goals in 38 league games. This year, with a month still left, they had already let in 31. This version of Madrid resembles PSG's failed Superteam with Messi, Neymar, and Mbappe. Strong up front, but lacking balance. Their record-breaking number of crosses without a real striker highlighted the chaos in their play. In the end, Ancelotti couldn't establish the balance he set out to achieve, and that failure led to the downfall of the third Los Galacticos. The stars can't be managed. Everyone plays individually, far from any tactical discipline. Bellingham's reaction to Ancelotti during the recent Barcelona match made that very clear. Yes, there was a short period where they seemed to play well, but it's important to remember that this was only against weaker teams. The truth is, whenever they faced quality or equally strong opponents, they lost. They couldn't beat Barcelona in the League or Cup, and also stumbled against teams like Atletico and Real Betis. In the Champions League, the defeats to Arsenal, Liverpool, and Milan still linger in fans' memories. In short, Los Blancos are far from meeting the standards their squad suggests, and the fans have lost their patience. In their most recent home game, Vinicius Jr., Mbappe, and Ancelotti were all whistled and booed. But beyond the manager and the players, there's one critical factor we shouldn't ignore: injuries. This season, Real Madrid never once managed to field a fully fit squad. From the very beginning, injuries hit key players like Alaba, Militao, Carvajal, Mendy, Rudiger, Camavinga, Tchouaméni, Mbappe, and Bellingham. The long-term injuries to Carvajal and Militao were especially damaging. Although Lucas Vázquez was used to cover for Carvajal, his performances weren't satisfying. Militao's position was unexpectedly filled by Asensio. Fran Garcia, Ceballos, and Valverde were used in various roles, with Valverde's stint at right back being the most successful. Yet, despite these injury problems, Ancelotti hardly gave any chances to young talents, another decision that hurt the team. Players like Arda Güler barely saw the pitch. Now, let's touch on what's happening off the pitch. This year, Real Madrid has been in constant conflict with referees and the football authorities. The club's relationship with UEFA and FIFA is already strained, and things have deteriorated even further with La Liga and the Spanish Football Federation. The club has repeatedly threatened to withdraw from the league or refuse to play certain matches. Just before the Copa del Rey final, President Florentino Perez even stated they wouldn't play if the referee wasn't changed. So this season, Real Madrid has been more active than ever off the pitch. But all this has done is place even more pressure on the players, nothing more. In the end, history repeats itself. Yet another Galacticos project has ended in disappointment. The decisions made by Florentino Perez and the board, the transfers they didn't make, the key players they failed to retain, the manager's poor form, the underperforming stars, and the excessive focus on off-field politics all combined to make this Superteam a failure, at least for this season. No empire lasts forever. It's clear that change is needed at both the management and coaching levels, because Real Madrid never once played football worthy of its squad this year. The third Galacticos project has fallen behind their eternal rivals, losing repeatedly to Barcelona's young squad. And let's not forget, this is the richest club in world football. The club is expected to generate around $1.4 billion in revenue this year. Chasing free transfers every season is not a sustainable strategy. A managerial change is inevitable. While names like Jurgen Klopp are being mentioned, the most realistic candidate seems to be Xabi Alonso. By the end of May, the most likely scenario is Ancelotti to Brazil, Xabi Alonso to Real Madrid. These, in general, are the main reasons why the third Galacticos project failed. History repeats itself. But what do you think Real Madrid needs to do to get the best out of this squad? Share your thoughts in the comments below.